Alright everyone, we are now doing a unboxing video of the new KastKing Valiant Eagle 2 bait finesse reel, or a finesse bait casting reel. Now, although this is named Valiant Eagle BFS Reel, like Valiant Eagle 2, it is nothing like the first iteration of the Valiant Eagle, which was a flop, a failboat. And for those who haven't watched my videos on that, I basically did an unboxing video, did one casting impression, and I basically threw it out somewhere in the garage and have never seen it again. But this reel here is actually a budget version of the new KastKing Kestrel Elite BFS Reel. So I will have this handy dandy on the side because we will also do a comparison. But anyway, let's put this on the side and let's take a look at this cool box. Well, I say cool because this is a crimson red box and the reel is red as well. So before we open it up, let's take a quick look, and I have to say, quite disappointed. There's nothing on the box. Like, I love when a box has specs because I could just reference it. For instance, right, we look at a box like this one right here, it tells you a lot of information and it looks nice. There's a reason why Japanese products are so amazing, because not only the products itself are great, but the packaging. People say packaging helps market products a lot better, right? Anyhow, I hope that KastKing will stop slacking and start putting information. Like the Kestrel Elite did have information on a box. But anyway, it's okay. Jimbo had to print out his own cheat sheet, which we'll share later. But let's just take a look at the reel right now. Boom. Here we go. Also nothing on the side, no specs. Unfortunate. So here we are. A dried up blood color reel. Like, I'm actually looking at this on my camera versus also just at the light myself. And it's interesting that I guess the Samsung camera might have a little bit of a filter, but it's more redder than how it looks here. All right. Yeah, definitely looks more redder when I'm looking away, not at the camera screen. But as you see here, this reel here is pretty much the Kestrel. So we could call this the Kestrel budget. I have no idea why they want to name it Valiant Eagle 2, but it is what it is. Anyhow, let's see what else is in the box. All right, so we're at schematics, and I do want to look at one thing because I was actually curious of the clicker here for Star Drag, because there's some problems with mine, the Kestrel Elite, and I want to look into this later during our unboxing. But yeah, interesting. And then we have some information here that does not apply to this reel really, like how to set up a bait casting reel or a BFS bait casting reel. All right, so let's jump right into this bad boy. So for those who haven't watched my unboxing video of the KastKing Kestrel Elite BFS Reel, it's okay, because we're going to cover this guy here, which basically cover both reels. So the handle, it's aluminum handle, and this here feels plastic, but on a website it did say it's supposed to be like a aluminum, but I don't think it's aluminum. Just don't feel aluminum. But I do like this handle here, soft TPE material, and I will bring this guy out very quick. The difference you see, carbon fiber and some wonky handle. I mean, it's still TPE, but it's just shaped differently and has like this texture. Like, it's smaller. And I don't know, I just never like the feel of it. I prefer, you know, stuff like these, or, you know, Shimano, you know, it's the standard. Okay, so drag star. Listen to this. Sometimes it doesn't click. Very dull right there. And sometimes it's okay because like the very end part where it's not usable, you know, this is super loose, it doesn't have the sound. The usable spots do have to click at least, but my Kestrel sometimes doesn't have it. And it's quite annoying sometimes. And as you see, sometimes super loud, sometimes dull, not consistent. And it feels like right out of the box is the same thing here with this reel as well. What a bummer. All right, so let's take a look at what's next to that. All right, next on the list, let's take a look at the tension knob. There is a clicker, and it's black and red, which I like. I mean, if we look at this reel again from the top right, we have like dried blood color, black, and then some bright red color. I really like the bright red and black. It really matches well. And it's still new to me. This little like dried blood color. And seriously though, you guys looking at here, my Galaxy Samsung phone may portray this reel a little bit more brown, but I am looking at here at my light, like not over the camera. It looks more red, but yeah, interesting. All right, what else? We have the cone shape, vortex shape line guide, which is great. We have an oval shape here, small, and then you look on the other side, it's actually bigger. This will allow lines to dispense with less friction, especially when this line guide is all to one side. You know, when line go left and right like that, when you have your line guide all at one end, that actually creates the most friction, and that could cause less distance, like in typical line guides, but having some sort of a vortex style line guide will help reduce that. So it's great because we finesse anglers cast light lures, and light lures don't go far in the first place. Having too much friction, that means it's pretty bad. So it's really, really important for any sort of a finesse size reel, BFS reels, to have some sort of style of line guide. So that's good. This thing right here is pretty much the same as the old one. You can see that there is a little bit of a rubber or TPE material here, making it soft and grippy. Okay. Side plate, interesting. It looks the same as the other one, the Kestrel Elite, but doesn't have that little hole right there, but shape pretty much the same. And let's take a closer look at the icons, logos. That's the Kestrel, and that's the Valiant Eagle. Which one you guys think look better? I think I like this logo a little bit more. That's just my opinion. Anyhow, let's keep moving. Still on the side plate. This is the unlock for the side plate, which I don't like. In fact, here's a quick story for you. What happened with the Kestrel Elite for me. All right. So I am a kayak angler, for those who don't know. And when I placed my Kestrel Elite reel on a specific rod, and when I put it on my kayak rod holder, potentially this section right here might sit exactly where the rod holder is at. And one time, I was fishing with one rod, one reel, when this reel was just released, the Kestrel Elite that is, and I was raving to him, hey, I used to be with KastKing, I helped KastKing get into BFS game, I helped create the KastKing Zephyr BFS reel, and I gave him a lot of pointers for all the other BFS stuff, and blah, 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 right? Basically, I was flaunting to him, right? And so we went out fishing, and when I grabbed my BFS reel, the plate was not there. It was very embarrassing, and the funny thing is, this happened to me in passing with many other reels too, like 13 Fishing, right? Most of them have that, especially the lower end ones, and they don't have the butterfly system for the side plate. So what happened is, when this thing opens, it just drops, right? But 90% of the time, which is nice, how my crate set up on my kayak is that this plate will usually drop inside my kayak, which is nice. It's in the back, and I usually have to lift my crate, and you know, it's like on the side. But I'm glad I didn't lose this. But so far, since getting the Kestrel Elite, I have already popped the plate probably 5 times already. So yeah, it's very, very unfortunate, and I really, really don't like that design. But that only applies to those who uses a similar, I guess, rod holder that I use. Okay, so if it doesn't apply to you, it may not apply to you, but it's a big deal for me. Okay, but anyway, let's open this bad boy up and take a look. So let's talk about the braking system. For those who are not familiar with this guy here, KastKing created a dynamic braking system called a fly arc braking system, which is basically a copycat of the Shimano FTB braking system. It's a dynamic braking system, which is great because it helps apply additional braking force when necessary. So if you take a look at these 2 pivot points right here, right, and it's actually movable. See that? See how the thing moves? And what happened is, this right here pushes magnets closer to the spool. So the spool spins this way as it's casting, right? If it spins very fast and it needs the additional brakes, it'll pop on. But if it doesn't need that, it'll retract. So that will help manage the line dispensing a lot better and reduce bird nests, right? And if it doesn't need it, it won't apply the additional force so that it will still cast far. So dynamic braking is amazing. However, one thing we all know with the KastKing Kestrel Elite BFS Reel is that it's overbraked. And yeah, that's a design flaw. In fact, I'm gonna show you guys right now. So here's the plate of the Kestrel Elite. And this spool is the same for both reels. So I'm gonna show you guys right now. So when you have this plate right here in like that, you see that the magnets are already in there and impacting the magnets. Okay. Now I'm looking at this and I'm putting this in here. It looks like it's the same thing. The magnets are over the spool, so it's likely overbraked as well. But I'm looking at the two side plate right here. It looks like there's something a little bit different with this brown thing right here, the brown ring. But just sitting on this table right here and doing my assessment, I can't tell if the new Valiant Eagle 2 have any sort of difference, like performance differences. But, you know, just by looking at it, you know, the brown thing is different, but I think the magnets are still covering it. So I have no idea. Now, KastKing may have potentially changed the magnets. It may be a weaker magnets. I don't know. But I'm looking at it right now, and I'm still concerned if it's still overbraked. So anyway, to prove that this is the same spool, I do have specs on the side, which I'll share later. The line capacity is the same thing for both spools, but we'll just weigh it, okay? And I'm not going to take off this guy here, the pin, because I'm going to show you guys in a second that the pin, after I removed it from the Kestrel Elite, it's never the same again. But let's just do this first, okay? This should be 5.6 or 5.7-ish. Exactly, right on the dot. So without the bearing right there, it'll be reduced by 1.1 grams. So that's supposed to be like 4.6, depending, you know, your scale, right? It should be the same spool. Now I'm gonna just pop this spool out right here very quick. So I swapped to raWr micro bearings for this guy here, and I had a hard time removing this pin. I had to use a very, very strong pin remover, which is this guy right here, the raWr TX6 spool bearing remover. Got this at Bait Finesse Empires, okay? So when I popped this guy out and when I put it back in, this became a little loosey-goosey. You see that? I'm pushing it left and right. And if this is not centered enough and you guys put this back into your reel, it's gonna have problems. It's gonna be clicking and it's not gonna be smooth. And sometime when I go out there and I cast, right? Maybe because I like, you know, drop my rod and reel on my kayak and it shakes down a little bit, it starts rubbing and I have to open up my side plate and push this thing back right in the center and fish again, which I don't like. So yeah, I don't know if this is just my spool or if anyone else is experiencing this with any of their KastKing reels, but I believe one of my Zephyrs is like that as well. Like it was like super glued tight, and when I forced it out, that guy was like totally loosey-goosey. So I had to reach out to customer service to get another pin. But anyway, enough of that. I'm just sharing with you guys with my experience with KastKing. And for those who think I hate KastKing, I used to be with KastKing, okay? I used to be with the brand ambassador team. And also, once again, I helped them create the KastKing Zephyr BFS Reel. I helped them bring out the Zephyr BFS Rod and some other stuff, okay? So I have a good relationship with them, but now I'm not with them. I get to be 100% honest, okay? So take it or leave it. Anyway, so yeah, I covered the braking, the spool is the same, the braking system, although the system is pretty much the same, there's a little bit minor difference, and I won't be able to tell if this thing is overbrake until I get on the water. So stay tuned for those cast testing videos. All right, so I am now done talking about the specs of here. I do want to weigh the entire reel for 1 second, but I do have the weight written down right there, so I don't know why I'm even weighing it, but I do want to show you guys. So yeah, that's interesting. On paper, this is supposed to be 135 grams, but my cheapo says 132, okay? So it's close enough. Anyway, let's pull this guy right here and let's look at the specs very quick. So first and foremost, KastKing did not send this to me. I bought this on Aliexpress. I ordered it on the 2nd and I got it on the 14th. So I got it pretty quick, All right, got it pretty darn quick. So VE2 means Valiant Eagle 2. KE means Kestrel Elite. All right, so gear ratio is the same for both. Bearings for the new reel, the budget reel, is a little less, but it's not that much difference. Okay, I don't feel like it's, you know, that bad compared to the other one. Max drag is 1 kg less, which is great because now we can play around and fine tune your drag system a lot easier, especially folks who are fishing lighter stuff. So I do like that. And the weight, not that heavy. I think mainly the weight difference is from this aluminum handle. I know the Elite has magnesium alloy frame and this is a graphite, but I don't think there's a huge difference between the weight of the two. And plus, we are ultralight fishing. Ultralight, light, even medium light. I don't think we even need some sort of a, you know, metallic frame. You know, it's not a heavy reel where you throw heavy lures on heavy setup. Your reel won't warp, okay? Now, I've seen videos where people doing this, right? And squeezing your reel, like squeezing that way. No one squeezes their reel that way and, you know, force it to squeeze the spool. No one just do it, okay? In fact, that happens to expensive reels too. Look, here's the algae bearing. Boom, I just did it. See that? Here's a free spool. See, it goes very fast, okay? Stopped it, see? Doesn't matter what kind. It will happen to this guy here too. In fact, I could put it back in together if you guys want. Magnesium or not magnesium. Magnesium frame, doesn't matter. It will happen. Boom. Instant stop. All right. So, not a concern. Just don't squeeze your reels. Doesn't matter. All right. Yeah, I really don't want to cover all these specs here. You guys can hit this pause button whenever you guys want. All right. But yeah, this reel right here, a lot cheaper. Way cheaper than the Kestrel Elite, which is why I like it and which is why I bought it, to play around with it and to test it out. And hopefully they make some changes because I'm sure they have already heard all my complaints and everyone else's complaint about this guy right here. And I really, truly believe that this guy should be a lot lower price than the $220 MSRP. Anyhow, I hope you have enjoyed this unboxing video. This reel is definitely a lot cheaper. And if you have a little bit of money during the holiday season, you would definitely get it a lot cheaper. I got it during the 11/11 sale, which is a super holiday in Asia. It's basically like Black Friday of Asia. And yeah, there's a lot of discount code out there and I got this pretty much at $50. So is this a great budget BFS reel? We shall find out. Stay tuned for my cast testing video. Expect me to cast this on an ultralight rod and a light rod. Thank you for watching The Fish Don't Wait. I see you guys on the water.